All right, guys. So those of you who don't know me, I had a prior YouTube channel called Kings where I did like food, hair, makeup, family things, taking the dog to the vet, etc., etc. I really couldn't find my way. I don't know where I'm going with this whole YouTube thing. I don't know. I just see YouTube as a vent, and it helps me. For some reason, it's nurturing and it's like a therapy. Yeah, I'm talking to an iPad screen, but I mean, for me on the inside, I don't know, it's just nurturing for me. So that's why I enjoy doing it. Okay, so I started a new channel called Candy in the House. And basically, I was just going to go around, the neighborhoods in the Houston area, Spring, Conroe, just Texas, period, and do some videos and just going into new communities and videoing new homes, residences, RVs, tiny homes, triplexes, apartments, housing facility, like anything you can live in. I was, there filming. I was even filming after my little stint in the hospital, and we're going to get into that. So, yeah, so if you know me, I hope many of my subscribers are people that know me personally, but if you don't, I have struggled with fibroid tumors for years. I actually had a myomectomy in 2013. I want to say 2013, and I had a total of, I'm sorry if my voice is like trembling. It's just, I'm sweating. It's taken a lot for me to come out and do this. I'm nervous. I don't know, what people are gonna think, and I'm just emotionally, I'm having issues myself. So just coming out, telling the world about what's going on with me is very challenging. And I didn't have this problem before, but I do notice that I'm a little bit more social. So if my voice is trembling, just go with it. Okay. So where was I? So I had a myomectomy done in 2013. I had a total of like 8 fibroid tumors. They were very big. My stomach was protruded. I looked pregnant. I would be at work and people would ask me how many months I was. And, that happened a couple times. It's embarrassing. It makes you... I just started covering up with jackets and coats and wearing big shirts, and I just really felt kind of uneasy, ashamed. I had heavy periods. I didn't know how to make it stop. I had to wear pads every single day of my life. It seemed like I was anemic. I craved ice all the time. I would walk around the job just chewing on ice. I just couldn't get, I chewed ice morning, noon, and night. I would chew ice. I would wake up in the middle of the night, and that's because I was so anemic. And I was anemic because I was losing so much blood because I had so many fibroid tumors, and they feed off, blood. So I had a myomectomy. That was successful. I went for a period of time. It seems like things were, getting back. And at that time, in 2013, 2014-ish, I wanted to try to pursue having more children. I was in a new relationship. He doesn't have any children. My children are, approaching adulthood. So, it was kind of, should I start over? Shouldn't I? It was just really weighing in on me. And I was like, what the heck? I love this guy. We want to have children, so we tried to pursue that. I have a video on my channel about my tubal reversal in Mexico, so check that out if you want more details on that. But anyway, so So yeah, we pursued that. That wasn't very successful. Then it started getting expensive, and then it just started getting, uh, I was into my career at the time anyway. I was moving up the ladder at the job I was at, and it just seemed like, the more I moved up in the company, I just started to realize I really wouldn't have time for a baby. I'm doing 12, 16-hour days. I'm doing, 60, 70 hour weeks. And the job really required a lot of my attention. People needed me. I was an important asset to the company. So, there was no way that I can just, and then, once you start making money, you start like, the more money you make, I guess the more people spend. You start getting, I'm making, $2,000 more a month, so I can get this car and we can move in this house, and, we can start, you don't eat great value anymore. You're moving up to, the name brand stuff like Borden, you know what I'm saying? So just things like that, the more money you make, the more you spend basically. And so we were just trying to figure out, because we would talk about, okay, so if you're going to be here with the, with the baby, then you try to go back to work. We're going to have to pay for child care, and you're gone all day. I mean, it was so bad. We had a dog, and we were gone so many hours during the day, me and my husband just working. We just realized, you know what, this poor dog is here by herself all day long, and by the time we get home or have an off day, we're so tired. If we get an off day, we're so exhausted, we really didn't have the energy or the time, to have a pet. I mean, we meant well, but yeah, we just decided to, just find a loving home for her, and especially with kids. She was really playful, and we just didn't have the time. So we went on and just, gave her to one of our neighbors. And that worked out perfectly. She absolutely, they adore each other. I love it. Yeah, so, yeah, I had the myomectomy done. Went to Mexico, I had a tubal reversal. That was unsuccessful. So fast forward, the same symptoms I was having when I had the fibroids before, with the heavy bleeding, the cramping. I was feeling fatigue. I was craving ice, so I was anemic, the headaches. So everything I experienced before had came back. So I go to the gynecologist, and I'm telling the gynecologist, hey, he's having, and so they checked me out, and she was like, yeah, you do have a few. They're really small, but I do see some fibroid tumors coming back. So she was like, I could put you on birth control, and that'll slow them down or what have you. So I did that for a little while, but birth control, I don't know, it just makes me sick. So I stopped doing that, and I just gave it to the Lord. I said, you know what? If they come back, I mean, I just have to deal with it. This is just something I have to deal with. So this was like 2014. Fast forward, about 2018-ish, things just started really getting bad for me. I started suffering, just not being able to hold my urine when I was at work. Every time I would drink something, it's like I would drink it and then it would just come right back out a few minutes later, like literally. And I would just feel nauseous. I would have a headache. It was like what I was going through back in 2013, but times 10. So I went back to the gynecologist, and she referred me to a specialist, and they did say, yeah, you have some fibroids. It doesn't look like it's too bad, but we're gonna try to come up with a plan to, and then as far as me having to urinate all the time, because the fibroids were getting bigger. And same as before, they were, sitting on my organs and all of this. That's why I was anemic. And then I was diagnosed with incontinence. So, okay, so I'm like, okay, I have to wear bladder pads. I have to wear a pad because I'm like, just have all this stuff going on, And I mean, it took a toll on me mentally, just trying to work, be a professional, be a mother, go to football games, going out on dates with, my husband. I always had to, I was like one of those women in the bladder control commercials. Like, I just had to stop. We would be driving, and then I'm like, hey, can we stop at McDonald's? Because I just had to go to the bathroom. And, it was just, it was a lot. So fast forward 2018, let's go to like 2020. It started getting worse, like worse. I couldn't hold my urine. I was just at work, I was miserable. Now, mind you, all of these years I'm still wearing a pad because I'm suffering from incontinence. When my periods would come, it was, it wasn't a period. It was like a period times 10. I was anemic on top of that. So I was always thirsty, and it was just a recycler. It was like, okay, I drink something, 10 minutes later, I have to go to the bathroom, and then I'm craving ice, and then, ice turns into water, so I'm going back to the bed. So it was hard to even work. And at the time, I'm a supervisor. I'm over so many people. I'm dealing with customers. I'm trying to please my boss, but I'm just in the restroom all the time. So, it was very uncomfortable. I didn't feel attractive. I had this big bulge. My stomach was sticking out. It was just, something. And so that's when the doctor started talking about, so where do you want to go from here? And I didn't have an answer. I mean, in my mind, a hysterectomy was out of the question. I didn't, I knew I wanted to have more kids. I had an unsuccessful tubal reversal, but I was like, there's still hope, I can have an IVF done. I can try and have another tubal reversal. But I don't know, just in my mind, a hysterectomy was just not an option. I didn't want to go into menopause. I didn't want to have hot flashes. I didn't want the weight gain, the headaches, the mood swings. So, 2021-ish, going into 2022, it just got worse. My symptoms got worse. The doctors are still trying to talk me into getting a hysterectomy. Now, by this time, we had tried many options. They had recommended I could do birth control, or there was a procedure where they can, I think they was going to try to do another myomectomy, but they told me the chances of the fibroid tumors coming back were greater, even more greater, and then it's just a cycle of you just keep having surgeries, and I didn't want to put my body through that. Then they were talking about having a hysterectomy, not a full-blown hysterectomy, but this and this and that. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what, I still want to try to pursue, having children. So here we are in 2022. I'm going to work every day, but I'm just feeling really ill. And I had been feeling like this for probably a couple years. I felt nauseous all the time. My head was hurting. I just remember the nauseous. I was always nauseous. I would be eating a meal in a restaurant, and then all of a sudden, I just felt like I was going to be sick. That was a horrible feeling, on top of feeling like you have to pee because something's like on your bladder 24/7. Even if you didn't drink anything, I felt like I had to urinate, which led me to have to wear a bladder control pad. And then if I was on my cycle, I mean, it was just horrible. So, ooh, where was I? Where was I? I'm like all over the place. Um, yeah, so, 2022 is here. I'm trying to work. I'm going to the bathroom all the time. I'm having accidents because I can't make it to the bathroom on time. Um, I'm wearing a pad all the time. I couldn't really wear the clothes that I wanted to wear, like jeans or, white jeans or whatever, because sometimes, different bladder pad brands don't work as good as others. I'm flip-flopping because I'm trying to find one that works for me. And sometimes, I mean, you have accidents. It just happens. I mean, that's life. Something I couldn't control. I would be like doing a speed walk to the restroom and slinging people out of the way, and it's like I just wouldn't make it sometimes. It was embarrassing. It was degrading. Very uncomfortable. But I did what I had to do. I had to go to work. The doctors then put me on a bladder control medication that didn't work. And then they put me on a stronger one, and it was starting to work. But when I went to go and get a refill for the medication, it was $250. And my insurance for my job wouldn't cover it. So I couldn't continue that medication. So I don't know. I went to an appointment like in maybe March of 2022. I saw the specialist at the hospital, and they were saying that, okay, you have to have this done. We can't wait any longer. I had an ultrasound, and they were just saying, and I mean, my stomach was big, like I looked pregnant, and they, my uterus was just, it was stretched beyond capacity. And they were like, you're going to have to make a decision, and we feel that the best decision would be a hysterectomy, but at the end of the day, it's your choice. So I was like, oh my. You know what? I just noticed I didn't have my microphone in. On me. I probably sound better now. But yeah, so they were, just, hey, we can do this. We can, there was some procedure where they were saying that they can, well, I can't remember the name of it, but something about they can cut off the blood supply to the fibroids and they'll shrink. And you know what? By that time, me and my husband had several conversations. We were getting older. The kids were grown. They're moving out. They're going to college. We're empty nesters almost. And, I had kind of slowed down on my job. I went from management to a lower position, and I enjoyed going to work for 8 hours and coming home. So with that being said, we were like, you know what? We didn't do the baby thing. We're getting older. And, my health just wasn't, my health wasn't where I wanted it to be. And financially, it was just draining. I mean, having an IVF and, the chances, are just, I mean, it's not a guarantee you're going to get a baby out of, your first IVF. And then with, my age and everything. So, and, the surgeries I've had in the past. So, we just made a decision. It was hard. We were like, you know what? We're just not going to pursue the child thing. We're just going to carry on with life. We're together. We have each other. And we're just happy with that, I already have children. So, we're just going to sit around and one day wait for grandkids. So I was like, okay, bet. But I didn't say it that easily. I took it pretty hard. So I decided I wanted to have a hysterectomy. I decided I wanted to have a hysterectomy because they told me it wouldn't be a full hysterectomy. I would still have some stuff in there, so I wouldn't automatically go into menopause, something to that effect. And so we went on with the procedure. May 11th, I went into the hospital and I had a hysterectomy done. It was supposed to be, don't mind my wind chimes, y'all. I'm in Houston and the weather, we're having this beautiful fall weather and it's gorgeous. But it was supposed to be, I go in, I have the procedure, and I come out the same day, or if I would probably have to stay overnight and I'll be discharged the very next day. So it wasn't like anything extensive as far as I knew. I mean, I would have to take a leave for 4 to 6 weeks, but so I had the hysterectomy. My gynecologist said, while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and, remove the fibroids. So I was like, cool. I was happy about that. I was like, oh my God, no more menstrual cycles, no more, wearing pads, hopefully no more incontinence, because these heavy fibroids are not like on my bladder, and just freedom. I'm not chewing ice anymore, and then my teeth started wearing down from chewing all the ice, so I started having dental problems. Like, it was just a whole domino effect. And so I was kind of happy about it. And May 11th was the beginning of the end for me. I went into the hospital. There were major complications while I was in surgery. My doctor said as she proceeded with the hysterectomy, there were feces. There was like feces, and something with my intestine, and she didn't know what to do. She went to go find another doctor to assist her during the surgery, and a doctor came, and he told her, okay, go ahead and finish your hysterectomy gynecology part, and I'm going to take over. And so she finished up, and he took over, and I was cleaned up and flushed out and everything, and they put me, well, before they did that, he had noticed that my intestine had, like, it just wasn't good. Part of my intestine wasn't good, so it had to be removed. So he had cut some of my intestine, and he had sewed it together, the remaining, and then he put me back together. And so, I came off anesthesia, and I was in like a recoup area where I was supposed to get better and recoup. And then eventually, go home. So yeah, I was there for about, in that recuperating area, for about 4 days, but I was not feeling better. My blood pressure was through the roof. My heart was beating fast. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't keep down food. They tried to put me on a liquid diet. I had no appetite. They kept trying to get me to pass, gas, or I was bloated to the max. I mean, they were like pressing on my stomach and like, oh, this, I don't know, this doesn't look good. But my gynecologist was like, I mean, your hysterectomy part, you're doing good, but there's something else going on. That final night, I mean, they had moved me, guys. My heart was beating so fast and my blood pressure had went up so high. They moved me to the cardiac floor. I'm not sure, it was the 5th floor, 6th floor, something like that. They moved me to cardiac, and they had me hooked up to all these machines, and it was just beeping, and you know, whistling, and I mean, it was scary. I was hooked up to all these machines. I had to be put on oxygen. I had a couple blood and transfusions. I mean, numerous IVs. I had a little heart thing. Where did they put that? I had these things on my chest. They were coming and checking. And then there was this heart thing I had to carry with me, because I remember every time I had to go to the restroom, I had to take the IV with me, and then I had to bring this heart thing. And every time I unplugged it to go to the bathroom, the nurses would come running in, and they'll be like, okay, we didn't detect your heartbeat. Where's your monitor? And I'm like, well, I had to use the restroom. I can't drag all this stuff with me. So that was something. So I wasn't getting better. And about the 5th day, that's when the surgeon came in, the one that supposedly hooked my colon, my intestine back up, or stapled it. And he sat down on in a chair next to my bed, and he explained to me that you know, there's complications with my surgery. I'm not getting any better, and he wanted to go in and make sure, you know, everything is good. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get in a machine, or they're going to do x-rays or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, I didn't know what they were going to do. And so the next thing I know, after he said that, I said, oh, okay. Because I had just got off the phone with my sister. She was supposed to come visit me. And next thing I know, a lady comes in with a clipboard telling me I have to sign these papers. Well, iPad. I had to sign these papers. And yeah, and then he said that I'm going into surgery, and I was like, wait, what? What do you mean surgery? I just had surgery like 4 or 5 days ago. You can't operate on somebody that quick. And he was like, ma'am, you need to go into surgery, like right away. Your health is deteriorating, and I have to make sure that, you know, the part of the operation that I performed, it's actually healing and working. So I'm like, what? I was so devastated. I called my sister. I told her I was going back into surgery. I called my husband. He was lost. So he was at work. He dropped everything, and he was on his way up there. And next thing I know, I had a mask on, and I was back in surgery. So when I woke up, it was so when I woke up, I had a bunch of tubes in my mouth, in my throat, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I couldn't swallow. I just was trying to get my hands, but my hands were bound on each side. And I just remember I was just with this, you know, these tubes down my throat, and I couldn't breathe. And I had the ropes, and I was just on the bed, and I can see people, and they're telling me, calm down, calm down. And I just remember saying, I'm going to die. I can't breathe. I can't talk. I can't scream. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And I just remember telling myself, just pass. Just pass. And I must have blacked out. When I woke up, I was in a dark room in the bed, and I was by myself, and I I was just looking, it was dark and I was looking around and I just saw these machines and I'm hearing machines and I just started like feeling pain and I just started like just feeling and I noticed I had a thing in my hand. It was like a button. And then a nurse came in and she was like, you know, happy. She was like, hey, oh, you're awake, you know. And she said, if you feel any pain, you have morphine. Just press the button. And I was like, morphine? Like, what happened? What happened to me in there? This is like a big deal, you know. The only time I see morphine is when I watch a movie and some the soldiers about to die and they stab morphine in them. So I'm panicking. I'm like, what happened to me? And she was just in happy spirits. She was like, oh, you just had surgery. It was great. You're in the ICU. I just want you to relax. And I was like, I'm just so thirsty. And she said, okay, I'll bring you some water. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, what happened to me? And she was like, when you had surgery, just, you know, don't move around too much because you do have some incisions and stuff like that. So just, you know, and as she's in there, I don't know, I felt pain. And she was like, okay, when you feel pain, press that button. That's your medication. I was like, okay. And I remember I felt pain and I kept pressing the button and nothing was happening. And she said, well, you have to give it some time. And I said, well, I'm in pain. And she said, okay, just give it a few minutes. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I just started just touching, just feeling, because I'm feeling this pain. And I let the sheet down and I'm just feeling this pain. And she was like, yeah, you had some complications with your first surgery, and so he couldn't staple your intestines back. So yeah, you ended up getting a colostomy bag. And I was like, what's a colostomy bag? What is that? And so she was like, your waste will go in the bag. And I pulled my gown up. And it was there. It was there. I had a very big incision from like all the way like under my breastbone, I guess, all the way to like my waist, and I was in so much pain. And I'm like, I want my family. So I was in the ICU, and it was horrible. I mean, I like, y'all, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. There were like points, periods where I didn't want to live anymore. Like, how did I get here? What, just why is God angry with me? What did I do? What did I do? Why me? Like, how long am I gonna? I didn't know if I was gonna have this like forever. And it smelled, and I was just I felt so helpless. I couldn't get out of the bed. I had to use a catheter to urinate. They tried to put me on a liquid diet. I had 5 blood transfusions. So that day, I was supposed to go in the hospital for a day max, and it turned into, I didn't get out of the hospital. I went in May 11th. I didn't leave until June 5th. I had to go through therapy. I had to have a wound vac. I had to take insulin. I was just getting a lot of x-rays, and I was on a liquid diet for 3 weeks. When I went in, I weighed 156, and when I came out, I weighed like 136, 137. I mean, I could barely walk. They were giving me laxatives, gas medication. I had to get the incision, the foam in the incision. I had to get that changed out every other day. That was very, very painful. And for the first week, I couldn't even look at it when they would come and, change, my wound. For my wound vac, I would always look up, and it would just be so painful. I would be screaming. So, they started giving me like some pain medicine, but it just, I don't know, it didn't seem to really help. And then, where I had the wound vac, it kind of coincided with my colostomy. So, yeah, I had a lot going on. I had a lot of recouping to do. My appetite wasn't the same. I had to change my appetite. My whole just mental felt vibrant and sexy, and not anymore. I didn't know how to even empty the bag, or no one showed me. So I would have to call a nurse to do it, and just they didn't want to do it, and I could barely get a sponge bath. I mean, I tried to take a shower, and they came running in the room saying I couldn't get my bandages wet, and I just felt icky. I was just, and my family would come and see me, and I would just put on this face, and but when they would leave, I would just lay in the bed and cry in the dark. I was just, yeah. So the doctor came, and one doctor came and said that it was a very intense surgery, and I may not be able to get a reversal. I didn't even know what she was talking about, but she was like, yeah, sometimes these things are done temporarily, and then you could have it reversed. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, oh gosh, this can go away. But she told me in my case, it wouldn't be able to. She told me when I was alone in my room, and I had a meltdown, total meltdown. Other doctors and nurses started coming in. I threw them all out. I cursed them out. I just started screaming, I want to die. I want to die. Why me? Why? I did everything you guys asked me to do. Why did you let him come in there and just start chopping me up? Like, what happened? And so different people started coming in, and then a psychiatrist started coming to see me. And they would just be like, the nurses, every time they would come in, do you feel suicidal? How do you feel? They would watch me take my medicine. They would just, they put an alarm on my bed. Yeah, so. But my husband came and saw me every day. My kids came a couple times. I missed my daughter's graduation. That was like a big deal. Yeah, she was graduating from high school. She was a senior, and I missed it. But I mean, she understood why. But I don't know. Yeah, so that's what's been going on. I've been going to the seeing a psychiatrist. I see a therapist. I take medication. I go and see a specialist about, trying to have this reversal, and there's some complications with my hysterectomy because the surgeries were kind of done in the same day at the same time, so everything's just kind of healing together. So I'm having complications with that. I can't sleep. It's just like, I just like relive it like over and over. And then, I try to go to sleep and I have this bag, and like I had just getting up at night and emptying it and like changing it, and I'm just struggling. I'm just really struggling. I don't feel attractive. I don't feel sexy. Like, it's a lot. I go to the doctor a lot. Before, I was just so like energetic, and I felt sexy and attractive. I don't feel that anymore. It's just, yeah, it's a lot. It mentally, it's a lot. And physically, it's a lot. And I sometimes feel like I have like a newborn, because it just requires so much attention. We tried to go out of town, and, it just burst. It makes sounds. I can't control it. It fills up with air. It smells horrible. It's a lot. It's a lot. I knew I was gonna cry. That's why I had this towel on standby. Every time I talk about it, it's just, yeah. So that's what's been going on, and it's life changing. And I have a long way to go. I have more surgeries I have to have. Yeah. So I'm supposed to have a colonoscopy. Basically, I'll keep y'all updated on everything and my progress. And sometimes, I just need someone to talk to. I watch YouTube videos, and I never saw a YouTube video about colostomy before, but now I watch them. They're kind of outdated. The one girl I follow, I watch, and there's a guy that I really like. I can't think of his name. He hasn't posted in like 4 or 5 years, but I really like him too. And I was just like, wow, who's gonna wanna say, oh, I have this colostomy bag, and people start looking at you weird, and you're making noises, and and I can't wear what I want to wear. It's just, it's life changing. It's a lot. So yeah, sometimes I'll just get on here and I just need to talk. So yeah, but I'm gonna keep you guys updated on what's going on, and my progress and everything, and hopefully other colostomates could join in and just give me some type of encouragement. Yeah, so all right, well, that's pretty much all I have. It took a lot for me to make this video. I have been sitting on this for some time because I feel ashamed. But I wanted to do it. I'm just so tired of hiding, and I'm hoping this is like some therapy for me to just get it out and stop hiding in the house. And so yeah. All right, friends. Well, I have to keep moving. We'll get back. I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you posted. And just be blessed, guys. You know, take care of one another. Take care of your health. Take care of you. Take care of others. So I'm thankful I'm still here, because there were times when I thought I was gonna die. So I'm just glad that I'm still here, and you know, I hope I get through this. Yeah. So just one day at a time, and yeah, that's all you can do. So yeah, videos going forward, I'll still do house videos. We'll talk about you know, my condition, doctor appointments. I'll take you guys with me if I can, and just keep you updated on my progress. So thanks for watching. Love you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and if you can give me an advice on this colostomy thing. You know, when they gave me the training at the hospital for this colostomy bag, it was like 10 minutes. The lady came in with this box, and she just talked her way through the whole thing, and I was just so lost. I was so lost, and I told her I don't even want to touch the bag. I don't even want to touch it. It smells. It's scary. It hurts when it's removed, and then it has to be put back on. And you know, that was pretty much it. She just gave me a little 10-minute session. So when I came home, luckily I had to have a nurse come to the house and because I have an incision all the way down. I had a nurse come to the house, and she actually taught me how to properly, you know, remove my colostomy bag and empty it, and she showed me everything. So I'm really appreciative for the home nurse that came to you know, help me and to change my bandages and stuff like that. So that was very helpful, because she told me that, you know, she wasn't supposed to, but I was just so green. I didn't know what was going on. I was watching YouTube videos, but I just couldn't find a video where somebody was actually teaching or showing how to remove and take off a colostomy bag. So yeah, she really helped me out, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to attach some pictures with this video of my hospital stay. I'm not sure how YouTube will feel if I had some pictures of, you know, like some of the cuts or incisions or anything like that. I'm not sure about that. I would think, I don't know. I don't want to be demonetized or like banned from YouTube. I really don't know how that goes, but I did want to show y'all some pictures of me taking selfies of myself in the hospital. I had nothing else going on, so yeah. But I'm blabbing. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna stay tuned, and y'all, I just wanted to show y'all. because my colostomy is like right here. You could probably hear it. My bag. And you can probably see a little bit of it too, but yeah, it's here. And I mainly wear a lot of dresses because I tried wearing pants or shorts, but around this part here, it's like really uncomfortable. You know, especially if I'm, you know, trying to pass stool or whatever, it just kind of gets smushed, and it's a lot. So yeah, winter's coming and I'm just kind of worried about this whole dress thing. So I'm looking into maybe some jogging pants or drawstring pants or elastic waist. I don't know how you can make that sexy, but I'm gonna do what I can with what I have. So all right, guys, so until next time, love yourselves, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. I'm gonna post a video soon. So love you guys. Thanks for being subscribers.